Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Aletha joining me. Hi, Aletha.
Hi.
Hey guys, we have a really exciting video about how to get your ex back or even how to manifest a commitment. So this video is for you if you want to get your ex back or if you've got a relationship that's like friends with benefits and you want the commitment. Yeah, basically it's how to manifest a commitment and change the current situation that you're in. So we're going to dive into that. Really excited. Before I do, guys, Aletha offers coaching. Her clients get tons of success. She is absolutely amazing. If I was going to choose a coach, it would be her. And yeah, she's also having a 50% off sale. So we all love a sale and we all love free stuff. Trust me, because I do. And I intend you guys do, because who doesn't? We're actually giving away a free course. So definitely check out the link in the description below. The course is how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. So there's been great feedback on that course. I created the course. So yeah, I'm excited to give that away because we do want each and every one of you guys to be successful. That's why we do this. And more free stuff. We're having a contest. We get to 100,000 subscribers. We're giving away some free coaching sessions. Definitely check out the link below. So let's dive into this. So, I think one of the most important things to manifesting your ex back is, to not take what you've created so seriously. All your thoughts create and everyone is you pushed out. So everybody is constantly overhearing your thoughts, So reminding yourself that everyone is you pushed out. And when you do actually hear something from your specific person, like maybe I'm not ready for a commitment, I want to work on myself, you would take that and change that story, right? Revise what you heard instead of thinking, oh, this is set in stone, this is how it's going to be. It's about changing it and going, no, you know what? They've said it, they got it off their chest, they feel better. They've actually changed their mind because they realize what they said doesn't quite make sense and they are ready for a relationship. And they realize that, as humans, we're constantly working on ourselves and getting better. So they realize it's not an excuse not to have a relationship because they want to be with me and they want to become a better person with me, right? Change the story that works in your favor, right?
Right. And the whole assigning meaning to things is so important. Everything you said is so true. And we get to choose what meaning that we assign to whatever our SP is saying to us. And to understand that we did create this situation and it is from a past thought. So not taking it seriously is so, so important because it's old news, basically. And so we don't want to give it our energies. And what you said about not taking it seriously is really good, because if we're taking it seriously, then we are not really focused on assuming whatever it is we want from the end of actually having it and applying whatever meaning we've placed on it, so that we don't get so caught up in the 3D and lose ourselves and what we are trying to manifest. So yeah, cool.
Exactly. Because the 3D is just your old previous thoughts. Like they really are. If you create those little lists of little manifestations that happen, you will end up seeing that, none of it means anything. Like we don't give it any meaning. It was funny the other day. And it's like when you create these little things, you really start, you have those moments where it's like, why am I even worried? So the other day I was playing my video game and all of a sudden, like I was intending for friends. So I met this friend and we're online, we're playing this game and chatting over the PlayStation Network. And all of a sudden, and it's a younger kid, because I guess there are a lot of young kids that play video games. And the little kid, well, not little kid, but the teenager said to me, he's like, do you like Pokemon cards? And I'm like, well, I think my nephew does, but honestly, I've never seen my nephew with Pokemon cards and I didn't know if he liked them or not, but I just said, I think my nephew has some and he likes them. And then all of a sudden, I'm not kidding you, 3 days later, my nephew comes over and the first thing he does is pull out a little Ziploc baggie with a pile of Pokemon cards, goes as far as, hey, auntie, look at this Pokemon card, explaining it to me, pointing it out and showing me. And in that moment, my jaw just dropped and I was like, why do I worry about anything? Why do I worry? Like when I see a negative thought that I've created show up in my reality, I laugh at it because I'm like, I don't give it any power. I'm like, wow. In fact, the power I give it is I created that so I can change it. Like, oh my goodness, like it's still working. Like it's not broken, and it's about putting ourselves in check, and when we revise that situation and we avoid giving it meaning, or giving it at least a meaning that is in line with what we want, right?
Right. just living from the end of having that also is important to live. And if we're doing that, then we're not worrying because we're living from having it already, and that's important. And if we need to have faith, and faith is actually the feeling that we need to express whatever it is we want out into the 3D through we can use our imagination, our inner conversations, intentions, shifting conscious states, moving in with an assumption, creating a belief that is in our favor, and moving into really having what we want internally before it actually shows up externally, and staying in that place and realizing what you said. It is, I can do so many things so easily. I can change them. It's not that I'm stuck anywhere. I am in the operating power. I am in control of my reality, what people say and do, and what happens to me. And so I can create what I want. If it's not what I want, like you said, we can change it. Have a new thought.
Exactly. And what I like, great, what you said, Aletha, which I think is so incredibly important, is letting go of the worry, like letting go of the worry of what we've already created. And when we're intending for something, it's great to do all your intentions, affirmations, inner conversations. But I think the most important thing is taking that moment to just let go of the worry. And how I do that is I say to myself, I'm like, everyone's me pushed out, and my thoughts create. So I know it's going to happen. It's already happened. It's already happening now, rather than being in a state of, oh, I need to do this to make this happen, because then we're creating that we need to do this to make this happen, right? So, when we're looking to manifest your ex back, what we're really saying here is change the story, change the story. Why did you guys break up? And then, and put all your complaints and issues down and take it and rewrite a new list of what you want instead of those. Normally it'll be the opposite, right? Like, he never wants to talk to me again. He does want to talk to me every day. I broke his heart. He feels like, he took responsibility for it and he wants to be with me. He's got baggage. No, he's mature and responsible and wants to spend his life with me, or she, or whoever, right? And I would get rid of that old list and read that new list like 3-4 times a day. That's how I power manifest, along with that feeling of, yeah, I'm God of my universe. Everyone is me pushed out, and my thoughts are creating,
Right. And I've done what you said with the revising. And I've also decided what I wanted people to say in my SP. And then when I see them, they're saying the things that I revised that I wanted them to say. And so it just proof that it does work, and we need to stay on top of our mental diet. The intentions that you stated a minute ago are so important, that every time we have a negative thought to do the opposite of that, to change that. And it is power manifesting that way, and changing the blocks to something positive. That's really important. It's extremely important. You have to do that. That's what you got to do, otherwise you're going to go down paths you don't want to go, or you're going to stay in that same old stuck spot, and you don't want to do that. So revision is important, and making a list of intentions, and then saying them 2 and 3 times a day, morning, noon, if you want, before you go to sleep at night. Even do an imaginal acts at night, where you have a little 5-second imaginal thing. Fall asleep with that in your mind, up you being with your SP doing whatever that is your heart's desire, and fall asleep with that. And it's amazing how you can change somebody's mind by just changing your thoughts.
I know. It's purely magical. Like, a little personal success story of mine was, Andrew never wanted to get married because I had this whole entire story that he had baggage, and, and he eventually wanted to move in with me. And then even living with me, he was like, I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married. But in Canada, after you're living together for 2 years, you're common law. So I use that. And of course, he's a family law divorce lawyer, oddly enough. So he knows that. So I just kept saying in my head that he feels like we're already married. So of course he wants to get married. We're pretty much already married. Of course he wants to get married. And then the day that he wanted to go pick out a ring, and he knew I had to pick out the ring because I hadn't dropped hints or anything and been looking at rings, because I don't know. I just was like, I'm just not that type of person. But so he's the day we're driving to the mall, he says, I want to go to the mall and pick out rings. And I'm like, really? He's like, for you. And he's like, I want to get engaged. And I just started crying. And I was like, well, what changed your mind? And you know what he said to me word for word? He's like, well, we're already common law. We've been living together for over 2 years and we're pretty much already married. And I was just like, that was it right there, you know? But, you know, and to, you know, not have, I guess, you know what, I didn't go look at and give him hints about rings because I had that story that he didn't want to, and that would have just made me miserable and put up more resistance than just, you know what, going internally. And, you know, and then after he was into it, it was like, why drop hints? Like, he's just taken me to pick out my dream ring. So, you know, and I still have it.
That's
still on my finger.
And I've always been inspired by that story because it's helped me on my journey. Because every time I start to have a negative thought, I'll remember what you said about that and how you were able to alter his thought processes and your life, your reality by saying the opposite of what your old story had been about him, and creating what you do want. And I've learned that I can change any situation, and I have lots of examples of that in my own private world and also with clients, where internally we can change situations without ever having to do anything externally. We just mentally see it, set intentions, imagine it, whatever process you use, stay on top of with the mental diet. And I've changed situations where men in business situations were treating me inappropriately. I didn't have to confront them. And it was just mild, but it still was uncomfortable. And next thing I changed it internally. When I go back to that work environment, they're so professional. And it's like nothing had ever happened. You know, they didn't say a little slide mark here or there, you know. And so it was just, you can change any situation and you don't have to face it in the 3D. You can do it internally. And then they're going to repeat back to you what it is, the story that you created for them to say to you, the lines, the script that you wrote for them. So it's cool.
Exactly. So, you know, the basis of this to take your relationship to the next level, you know, or to get your ex back is revise the story that you're creating and start creating what the other person thinks about you, what the other person thinks about being in the relationship or wanting to get back together with you. Because ultimately, like Neville says, so within is without. Like, you know, what you create in here reflects back in your reality. And, you know, the important thing is to let go of the worry that you need to fix something. You know, be still in your power and know that you have that power. And, you know, and you know, if something shows up that you don't like, just avoid giving it power by thinking it's unchangeable or it's going to be hard to change, because it could have only been one thought that created it, and it could be seriously one thought that changes it back, right? So, you know that you have that power, and not everything has to be difficult to create, right? You can create things so easily just by relaxing into knowing everyone is you pushed out and that you're powerful.
Yeah. And once you do that, you just let it go, not worry, relax, and wait for it to show up, because it will.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Aletha. It was a great video. I intend it's helped everybody out there.
I do.
And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.